It really is our responsibility in the MSP and the IT and the cybersecurity industry to start holding the line of our recommendations, our best practices, our standards as an industry on every business, organization, nonprofit, what have you. And we all need to work together to educate the market, to help them understand that we can proactively prevent these cybersecurity breaches and issues. I understand it's never going to be 100% perfect, but we also have a society that believes, well, if it happens to me, so be it. Like it's, a random fire or something, right? This stuff is preventable. We can be proactive about it. And we as an industry need to hold the line and really educate and hold our standards and best practices. And if not, then that customer maybe is going to go elsewhere and really be disserviced by somebody who doesn't believe in this stuff, who isn't holding the line. And thereby, they're going to have a breach, they're going to have an issue, and that's where it's not good for anybody involved. And so we maybe need to rise up and hold our standards and really get everyone in, our clients, our prospects to truly understand what's at risk here and how we can actually prevent most of this stuff from happening if they just follow our recommendations and our standards. In this video, we're going to really talk about, my belief on what a good cybersecurity standard is and how we're really enforcing this across the board with our customers. And we won't work with anybody who really isn't up to these standards or not interested in these standards, because we believe that's not a good win-win situation for both us and our customer. And it's not the right thing to do. And so we'll talk about all of these cybersecurity standards. And, I want to hear your thoughts on what you believe to be the important tenets of a good cybersecurity plan, and how, we all need to educate and make aware our clients and prospects, to these standards and what really is going to be important for businesses moving forward in this cybersecurity threat landscape. I'm Stephen Taylor. This is Weekly ST. For the last 10 years, I've been building a couple $1 million cybersecurity IT support company here in Chicagoland. We are pressing forward very fully with important strides in cybersecurity, and I talk about all of this and more every single week. Please like, share, and subscribe. 2 years ago, the landscape was totally different, right? If you were good at IT support and you answered your phones and you could take care of people's issues, right, you were doing good in business. But things started to shift, right? We moved away from the malware and the adware type stuff, and we moved into this realm of, crypto lockers and ransomware and tactics, social engineering, and really trying to get, unfortunately, at all of our, right, and our clients' data, their money, all of these different things. And so this wave of cybersecurity has hit all of us, not only in the industry, but as well, to our society. And we've all had to adapt. Some have not, unfortunately, and they're kind of resting on their laurels and thinking that, the way that they've done business for 30 years is good enough. But I truthfully believe it is not, and I am not willing to sit on the sidelines and say, well, if it happens, it happens, and there's nothing I can do about it. I believe that we can be proactive, we can layer up, and we can potentially prevent the vast majority of these issues as long as we stay a step ahead and we continue to put hurdles in the way of the bad guys. Now, I am not a fool to believe that we are 100%, preventing these issues, albeit, right, these guys continue to look for low-hanging fruit, and it is easy enough for them to continue to find that because we have so many different organizations and businesses who are not layering up their cybersecurity standards. And I'm here to, implement those changes and those best practices with our clients and to educate our prospects on why this is a must-have for every organization. Organizations and businesses are going to be put out of business, right? It's happening now, right? There was a story, I believe the company was in Georgia. They were fighting their way through a ransomware issue. They didn't have proper protections in place. It doesn't sound like they had the right backups. And on a January 2nd open letter to, I believe it was a few hundred employees, the owner had to say, unfortunately, don't come to work because we're no longer in business. This attack put us out of business. And whilst it may have been a targeted direct attack that they would not have been able to survive, I believe more than likely they had some security issues and vulnerabilities, and they were not up to standard, and they did not have proper backups, thereby making them low-hanging fruit, where the bad guys walking around the digital neighborhood testing the open doors and seeing if there's open windows were able to get in and hold that, that business hostage, unfortunately. And there are stories like this all the time, and I believe for the most part it's preventable. And the responsibility lies on us as MSPs, right? If you do not have two-factor authentication on every single one of your client-facing tools, stop everything that you're doing. Watch the video that I talked about this. And I believe it's completely irresponsible, right, to be running an IT business, an MSP, what have you, and not have these protections in place. It's absolutely critical to the livelihood and the well-being of your team and all of your clients, right? Because if you as the MSP get breached and you had one of these vulnerabilities or you didn't have the proper protections in place, it is 100% your responsibility, and it should be on you as the owner, right, to ensure that this stuff is right so that your clients and your teammates, don't end up without a job tomorrow. So locking down our house of utmost importance, our own house, right? And we've done that in quite a few different ways. There are so many different tools and vendors available to us in the IT industry to make sure that these things are protected and locked down, right? And backups are 100% critical, given that we may not be able to 100% ensure the security of our clients from a breach or from an issue, right? We had better have quality backups, high quality backup and disaster recovery system that's, locked away and won't be breached, won't let the bad guys in, so to speak, so that if the shit hits the fan with one of our clients, we have a plan B. We've made a decision that we are not going to continue to support any customers who do not hold our cybersecurity standards, right? And so in our all-inclusive model, we are including a cybersecurity package, 7 different layers, 7 different features and tools, vendors that we're using. And we are rolling out agreement increases and then those tools and those protections to all of our clients. And anybody who doesn't see the value in it or doesn't agree with our recommendations that this stuff is important to the ability of their business to stay safe and secure, then they may not be a right fit for us, and they may have to go elsewhere for services, because I believe that's a liability to us as a provider, and we've worked hard on our reputation and our name, in the industry and in our market, where I don't want to gamble with that, right? A client who doesn't see the value, doesn't want to take the recommendations, it's our job to be the advisor, right? And to get them to understand the value and the importance of these tools and services. And if they don't, then they unfortunately would be a liability to us, right? And that's not something that, I want to gamble our reputation on. And so, we may have to turn a few customers down and say, you know what, it's just not a right fit for us. And unfortunately, they will probably go and find another provider who isn't doing the same thing to our standards, or even to a good industry standards, who may have these lackluster protections. And we have seen clients leave over the years. And within a day or a week or 3 months later, we've had a client leave, and the day they left, right, they needed us to restore from backups, right? Because almost instantly, they were hit with a ransomware, right? And it's because other providers who may be cheaper, who maybe have different offerings, do not provide the same levels of protection. And for us, it's paramount and it's required, that again, all of our clients are up to the standard. And I believe us as an industry should move towards a model where we all hold the line, we all hold these standards, because it's that important to protect, the clients that are out there. Nobody really argues with their doctor, right? Nobody really argues with their lawyer, right? Or says, nah, I think I should do it this way, right? And in the IT industry, certainly we have a lot of great loyal clients who appreciate our recommendations, who understand, who trust our judgment, those kinds of things. But there are a subset of clients or prospects, right, who really, well, I just want somebody to come out and fix it when it's broken. Or, well, that's too expensive, I don't see the need, right? Or, well, that's not for us. Or, now I start to hear some who say, well, if it happens to us, so be it, and maybe they're going to rely on, their insurance picking up the bill, or and I just don't think that's the right way to handle it. And so as more of us again start to kind of hold that line and hold the standards, then it educates the market, right? And the market goes, wow, this stuff is really important. Everybody believes it, right? Instead of being that cheap provider who just lets it be willy-nilly and doesn't really care, and then those style of customer go to that place and get the $100 break fix, and we don't really have any cybersecurity standards. And it would be unfortunate that those businesses aren't protected and are highly susceptible to these ransomwares and breaches, and more than likely that stuff's going to happen. My question for the industry is, you as an MSP owner, are you upping your cybersecurity standards and ensuring compliance and a best practice standard across all of your customers? Or is this, well, if they don't want it, then, let it be? Curious to hear your thoughts.